Good morning. Good morning. Yes, we are on unorganized religion. But we're still on our mission. Yes. Okay, today we're starting a series on how Jesus took his teachings and his mission to his people in his native land. And so we're going to be looking at today his first steps and how he started doing that. So let's just recap how he got to where he is right now. So we know, according to the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ by Levi Dowling, that at 12 years old, Jesus left and went and traveled many lands and studied with many masters and many religions. And as he was studying, he also told people of God's love. And then he was in Egypt, and he passed his 7 mystery schools, the 7 tests of the Christ, to become the Christ. And he met with the 7 sages of the world, and they all acknowledged him as the Christ. And they could see great things for him to do, all the things that he could do to change mankind. So they had all these different ideas of what this Christed being could come and teach and show the people. So they sat in silence, and after that, Jesus said, "I am a model maker, sent to make a pattern of the church that is to be, a pattern that the age may comprehend. My task as a model builder lies within my native land, and there, upon the postulate that love is Son of God, that I have come to manifest that love, the model church will stand." So he was to be the model that we were to become. Man will become love, and love is God, and we are the church. I'm the model of the church. And he said, well, you know, they won't understand it all, and they'll accuse me and convict me and slay me on the cross, but I'm still going. Because he said, because I bring the truth, and the truth cannot be slayed. So Jesus, once Jesus stood forth as the truth of God, the truth of what God is and how to be, the energy was now vibrating out, and that energy cannot be taken back. He presented the truth to touch the people's hearts, and so it's out there, no matter what happens to him. So he goes off to meet John, and he gets baptized and goes into his wilderness experience. And then he comes forth, and he's ready to head on to Bethany, which is a city outside of Jerusalem. So he's heading towards his hometown. Remember, he's been away. He's about almost 30, and he left when he was 12. So there's news about the king is coming. People are hearing that Jesus is coming, the king is coming, and there's big hubbub. And Jesus says, standing in the midst of them, exclaimed, "Behold, indeed the king has come." But Jesus is not king. The kingdom truly is at hand, but men cannot see it with carnal eyes. They cannot see the king upon the throne. He tells them about the kingdom of the soul. The kingdom of the soul you can't see. But it's a kingdom where God pours out his blessings and mercy and righteousness. It's a different space than what you're living in right now, amongst all your rules of the Jewish faith. It's a new space to live in and to be in. But you can't see it right now. He says, "Men call me the Christ, and God has recognized the name. But Christ is not man. The Christ is universal love, and love is king." He said Jesus is but man who has been fitted by temptations overcome, by trials multiform, to be the temple through which Christ can manifest to men. So he's telling them, okay, yeah, there's a king. It's not me. It's not me. I'm a man who's been purified to be able to be the love of God so that you can see the love of God, because you can't see the kingdom of the soul yet. Then, he says, then hear you men of Israel, hear. Look not upon the flesh, it is not king. Look to the Christ within, who shall be formed in every one of you as he is formed in me. Whoa. Imagine hearing that for the first time. Maybe you are hearing it for the first time. So, how different is that than what we've been told? You know, before, when Jesus was traveling and learning and talking about God, he was teaching people how to connect to God. He was saying, God is within, God is love, go into the silent place to meet God, be nice to each other, God's in all things. He was helping the people to know how to connect to God and how to know God, but he hasn't told them how to be God until he's ready to start his mission for his people. You just save him the big stuff for his people. So he says, when you have purified your hearts by faith, the king will enter in and you will see his face. And people ask, how? What are you talking about? How do we do that? So he says, whatever tends to purify in thought and word and deed will cleanse the temple of the flesh. Whatever will purify in thought and word and deed will cleanse the temple of the flesh. So he's trying to get their thoughts and their words and their actions all in alignment so that they can hold this vibration. And so he goes on to say, there are no, because you know the Jewish people are used to rules. They have rules on how to worship God, how to take care of their body. There's rules and rules and rules. And that's how they worship God, is through rules. So he says, there are no rules that can apply for all men. What? For men are specialists in sin. Each has its own besetting sin. And each must study for himself how he can best transmute the tendency to evil things to that of righteousness and love. And he says, you know, that's pretty heavy. So until you can reach the higher planes and understand that, I'm going to give you one rule that can help you do this. Do you guess what the rule was? Anybody? Do unto other men what you would have them do unto you. Simple. Simple. They have a rule now. Okay, so Jesus comes into town. He gives them the big picture of the kingdom of the soul. It's a really great place, but you can't see it. Okay, I'm telling you, it's a great place. Okay? So he gives them something to do in the physical. He said, I am here in the physical so that you can see and get a glimpse of the kingdom of the soul. This, my being, my physical body, my energy, is what you are to be. And when you are this, you can live in the kingdom of the soul. Saying life can be great, people. So he defines himself as the Christ, not the king. Christ is love, and when love fills your mind and soul and body, you will live as the Christ too. Okay. He gives them the how-tos. He says, purify your thought, word, and deed, and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So, let's think about that for a minute. Purify your thought, word, and deed. Men are all specialists in sin. There are no rules that apply to everybody. So, if we start thinking of, you know, sin is something that takes you off your path. And we know a lot about what takes us off our path. And it's different for everybody. So, like when I'm watching TV, and I'm watching the 4 hours of the Big Bang reruns, I'm avoiding, because I've seen them for years, and they still make me laugh, but there's probably other things I should be doing than watching the same things over and over and over again. I should be doing something that's spurring me on my path that God wants me to do. It could be writing, it could be meditating, it could be doing anything else, but I'm going to zone out. Now, somebody might be inspired by sitting and watching 4 hours of Big Bang Theory. Even though I love it, I know, after a few hours, that's enough. Can we all think of things we do that we're doing it and we go, yeah, Spirit's telling me to do something, but there's certain foods that we know affect our body a certain way, and we go, oh, just a little bit won't hurt. But what is good for somebody is not good for me. What might impact my body differently than somebody else's body would be good for somebody else. So there's no rule that says this works for everybody. And so there's plenty of things I think that we already know that we're supposed to be doing to put us back on our track to take care of, besides the stuff we don't even know. So we got plenty of work to do. So if we start doing that, it's starting to bring our body and mind and spirit all into alignment of what's going to work for our mission. Then he says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And so we look at that, we go, oh yeah, just be nice. That's more than just being nice to each other. If you have to think about what do I want? How do I want people to treat me? So you have to get clear on what you want. So when you're thinking about what you want, aren't you thinking about your thoughts and what's best for you? Then you have to think about, I have to treat others a certain way. Well, now I have to think about my words before I speak to somebody. Is that the most loving thing I could say? And then my action do unto others, is my actions towards others really what I want to experience back to me? Can you see it's the same thing as purify your thoughts, words, and deeds? You just told them in a different way. It's the same thing. So if we start monitoring our thoughts, our words, and deeds to make sure that they're aligned with what we want, then we're starting to purify our consciousness and our body. That's cool. All right, so he's starting his mission, having the people prepare their bodies, mind, and souls for them to be able to feel God and know God. So this is totally different than the rules that the Jewish people have and how to worship God. He's showing them that he's the temple. He's showing them how they can be the temple, that their bodies are the church. The house of God is the model church. And he's showing them how God can be real within them. So how different is this for them? 2,000 years hearing this. How different is it for us? Even though we know some stuff, but we could be hearing it for the first time. So we all know that the Christ spark lives within us. So when I, say my prayer, I ask that my Christed light be quickened within my heart and it fill every cell of my body, and that I be a blessing, and you do your thing. But I realize I haven't taken it to the next level, because the word that really struck me was the Christ that will be formed in you as it is formed in me. Normally when I think about Christing or quickening, it's a light vibration. We think we want to fill our bodies with light. But think about the word formed. The Christ is formed. He's giving it a form, a density that is real in matter. We're not just airy-fairy light floating around. We have a form that is Christ. Breathe. Isn't that different? Okay, so what were the two things? Purify your thoughts, words, and deeds, and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Okay. So now he's on his circuit. He's gone to Capernaum, another little town. And he goes, and they all hear about the king coming. And Jesus said, I cannot show you the king unless you see with the eyes of soul, because the kingdom of the king is in soul. And every soul is a kingdom. There is a king for every man. The king is love, and when this love becomes the greatest power in life, it is the Christ. So Christ is king. Can you follow that? He's saying before that the physical body is not the Christ, that love is the Christ, and love is king. And every man may have his Christ dwell in his soul, as Christ dwells in my soul. He's connecting the people. He's telling them, you can do this. You're the same as me. I'm here to show you how to be. The body is a temple of the king, and men call a holy man a king. He who will cleanse his mortal form and make it pure, so pure that the love and righteousness may dwell unsullied side by side within its walls, is king. Again, it's the same message, that the love of God within us is king. So he says, you men of Galilee, prepare to meet your king. Now, we've heard that, right? Prepare to meet your king. Now, when I first read that, I almost feel like it's a threat. Like, prepare to meet your maker, or wait till your dad comes home. Like, you've done something bad, and you have to stand in front of the big guy and take your punishment. Have we all kind of thought that when they say prepare to meet your king? But it's not that way. He's saying prepare to meet your king. You can do it. Do this, prepare to meet your king. I'm telling you how to do it. Now do it. You can do it. It's encouragement. It's not threat. So Jesus now is moving to Jerusalem, and he's coming into the temple, and we all know the story that he clears the temple. So there's money changers, they're selling animals for sacrifice, and so he says this house is ordained for prayer, and now it's a den of thieves. So he turns over the tables, sets the animals free, and then the priests just don't like that. And they said, who gave you the right to drive the merchants out? And he said, there is no loyal Jew who would not give his life to save this temple from disgrace. In this I acted simply as a loyal Jew, and you yourself will bear witness to this. So he's telling them that the temple, the state of their temple, is a reflection of how muddied their physical temple is. It's off track. You are so far away from knowing God this way. It needs to be cleared out. Just like your body temple needs to be cleared out. So they've gotten so far away from the truth. He's showing them that their outer world is a reflection of their inner world. And he's demonstrating how when the Christed energy takes charge and claims the energy, it drives out all the distractions that keep us from God, that keep us from being and knowing. So he says, no man has ever heard me say, I am king. God is king, and I worship God. So he's trying to establish, listen, I'm not the king. God is king. Okay, let's get that straight. I've said it over and over. He's defining who he is. And he's setting his mission. I'm the model builder, and I'm the example. And you too can do this. Just do this law. Okay? So we're supposed to be the model church. Church means of the Lord. Aren't we of the Lord? So that we are the temple in which God lives and is experiencing. So I think sometimes we think, yeah, God lives within me, but we don't realize that we need to be God expressing as Jesus did. God expressing. I'm moving through matter as God expressing. So in this church, this is a busy church. You know, we do healing and counseling, and we love each other and support each other's families, and it's very active. It's active through Cindy's church that she brings, Patrick's church that he brings, Bonnie's church that she brings, my church that I bring, Noel's church. It's active because we bring all our churches together to work on healing and purifying our thoughts, words, and deeds, and being a channel of God's love in our church to help purify those thoughts, words, and deeds. So it's very powerful that everybody comes because you're all bringing your church. You're all bringing your model. And when one does it, we're all working together on the path of the Christ. So it's not about just sitting and keeping a holy space, waiting for God to show up and waiting to listen for God. It's active. So for a long time in Christian theology, Jesus has been put up on a pedestal as the unattainable, perfect person that we can never attain. And we know that that's not true, but maybe in our subconscious we still think that. I mean, it's in raised consciousness, even though we, in metaphysics, we don't ascribe to that belief. And then what about, is there still some fear about meeting your maker? Meeting your king? You know, people have used that to scare you for a long time. You're going to meet your maker, and then you'll see. Instead of, yeah, I'm going to meet my maker. The one who loves me, the one who created me. So perhaps in our subconscious we still might have some threads of these old beliefs, and that clearly was not Jesus' message, was it? He came as an example, as a model for you to do. He gave them what to do and how to do it. So as a model, everybody, you know, when you go to look for a home, there's the model home. It's beautifully decorated, it's the most expensive, it's perfect, and you walk in and go, yeah, I want the model home. And you can have it. It has all the amenities, it has stainless steel appliances, it has all this, everything you could ever want in the perfect home. And you know what? The builder wants you to have that perfect home. You know why? Because he already has the plans. He already has the model, he already has the blueprints, he already knows how to build it. It's the perfect house. But then we go and we go, well, I think I'll change that wall. You know, maybe I don't want that expensive stove. Let me get a different range. And you start whittling away at the perfect model, which then creates problems because the builder wants you to have the model home because it's already been done. It's the perfect home. And we can still have our unique expression within that perfect home without tearing down walls and making things not fit right. So everyone can have the model home as long as you're willing to pay the price. And now even when I say pay the price, well, that sounds really bad. Pay the price like I have to give something up. But we can have it. We just have to follow those do unto others as you would have them do unto you. How simple is that? Because you know the builder can build a model home in 3 to 6 months. And then if we start changing things, it takes a long time. That's why we're still here. We keep editing and switching our rooms and, you know, knocking down walls and adding rooms over here because we already have the blueprint for the model. But we go, I'll think I'll try something different. So, we all want the model home, don't we? We want the model home where we can live and have our being. We want the model home for our indwelling Christ to take form and be God expressing. Don't we? Okay. So, his first few days or weeks, however long this took to go to different places, his message was very clear, yet very different. And so he did give them his intention, the big picture, and how to. He had to know who he was. Just like when we go out in the world, we need to know who we are to stay on our path to creating this temple, this model church. So are we ready to kind of clear the temple? Yeah. Okay. This side is. Okay. Okay. So let's just close our eyes. Just take a deep breath. And just feel your energy. Just notice all the thoughts in your head, any feelings in your heart. And now just imagine a column of light coming over you where you sit. And just set your intention, God, I'm willing to see you. I'm willing to purify my thoughts, words, and deeds to create the model church, to create God expressing. And I know this all can be done gently, lovingly, and easily. And now just imagine like there's been a film over your eyes that's being cleared by the light. And ask to be able to see clearly what you need to see to be put back on track on your path. And now bring the light into your ears and imagine that there's been muffles on your ears that you just can't hear clearly. I just don't know what to do. And just allow the light to move that blockage that keeps you from hearing your own spirit, that keeps you from hearing what's yours to do. And now just feel the light moving strong down your spine, giving you the strength and the courage to move on what you see and what you hear and what you know is yours to do. And if there's any fear that comes up, because we've been avoiding all this for a long time, just allow the light to move through it. And know that we have encouragement. That Jesus came because we can do this. And this is our goal. And ask that you feel God being formed within your body. That your Christ self not only quicken, but you feel the form of the Christ living in you. Your own Christ. Your own King. That has all your answers. That has your plan for your model home. And just feel how that feels. It may be new, it may be scary. But just feel the love that God has for you. That we've all come here to meet this time and place. And just let that love move through your body. And know that you can express that love in your world. And just be in that energy. realizing what you've seen and what you've heard, because we have seen it and heard it for a long time. Now we just ask the light to move through, going out into our world before our path, making our path towards our model home clear, bright, joyous, and fun. Just take a deep breath. When you're ready, just gently open your eyes. So how did that feel? You get some information. Was it information you already knew? So this week, when you go through your week being the model church, decorating your model home, just remember that one thing that Jesus told them. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So, here you go.